Mwah. Hello and welcome to Passing Notes, sharing music across generations. I am this week's host, Mark, along with my sons Jack and Bart, and our friend Kale. This week, our album is Gerry Rafferty's City to City, 1978 release. But before we get into that, let's take a moment to check comments from our last podcast, the Kaiser Chiefs. I
Yeah,
forget the
so
name of
as
the album.
per usual, we have our classic commenter Jaders saying,
Oh,
yeah, other than the like 3 bangers you all mentioned on this one, the album as a whole was just way too long and similar/repetitive. I'm sure if you're in a pub somewhere in Leeds, it goes hard, but just chilling at work, it was hard to get into.
For sure. That sounds about right. For me.
As always, thank you, Jason, for commenting.
Right on.
And if you want to be read, your comment to be read, leave a comment on the YouTube video. Just look up Passing Notes Podcast on YouTube and you'll find us. Leave a comment on the latest episode and we'll read it.
And just about anywhere else you can you look for your podcasts, favorite podcasts.
Yes.
All right, Gerry Rafferty's City to City. First of all, let's speak a little about Gerry himself. Gerry was born in Paisley, Scotland, blessed with perfect pitch but cursed by alcoholism. Gerry died in 2011 at the age of 63. The voice of the iconic song Stuck in the Middle with You, Baker Street, and more. I just wanted to comment briefly on where this was, where I was when this album came to be for me. I was a junior in high school when it came out, but it was really after high school that I embraced the album while I was away at school in Florida and then still at my first full-time job, away from my family and friends, learning to be more independent. I really got into the album during those times, and I go back to it still, obviously. So let us begin. Baker Street was a #1 song. A couple other tracks hit the charts, and the album was platinum, multi-platinum. So very successful album, and yet you don't hear a lot of talk about it, but you will in this podcast. And we will start with the first track, which is called The Ark.
The Ark. What a perfect song to set us off on this journey. Song about getting on the boat to start the journey. I came into this album a total G-Raf noob. Didn't know who the F it was. Knew Baker Street, or at least knew the sax riff, but that's about it. So this was all brand new to me. Quick question. When this came out, this was like late 70s, right? You said 78, 79, something like that.
78, yep.
Had he already made the big hit with the
Stuck in the Middle
Steelers Wheel?
Steelers Wheel, yeah.
Yes.
There, okay, so did he already kind of have some acclaim? Like people knew who he was when this came out? Or not necessarily.
I wouldn't say anybody knew his name other than those in the business that knew he sung on that track. Otherwise, like so many people, you just know the band name.
Sure.
And it was a one-hit wonder, so not so much, I don't think.
Anyway, The Ark. Very first note, I immediately dreaded the rest of this album. I was like, what kind of old, folksy, what country western BS is this? I'm like, I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate this thing. It's gonna be a tough week. And then, lo and behold, it turned into a tough month. Or did it? Or did it? First track, things I have to say about The Ark. Gerry Rafferty has a really nice, gentle, almost soothing voice. Um, I'd almost say it's an everyman's voice. At least I feel very comfortable singing along with pretty much all of G Raff's notes. The strings in this one in particular give me, like I said, some like almost a country western feel. Um, but the verses in this one, they can lull me along throughout the song really nicely. And I can be fine with the vibe, but as will be kind of a trend, I don't love Jerry's choruses all the time. And this one especially is pretty underwhelming to me. I don't even know what I want him to do, but the chorus just kind of stays level with where the rest of the song is at. There's no build into something stronger or like slow down. It just kind of stays at that same level, and I didn't love that on this one. Overall, I'd say Arc is a decent, kind of a sleepy opener. I imagine myself listening to this on a boat while I'm fishing on a lazy afternoon. Uh, that's all I got on the Arc.
Yeah, very mellow start to the album. Not a ton that really shines by itself besides like the guitar solo. The rest of the parts all kind of meld together to kind of create an atmosphere of mellowiness. And yeah, as Bart kind of said, the song doesn't fluctuate much. It's kind of stays fairly static throughout, except for maybe that guitar again. Uh, yeah, I mean the song just kind of eases you into the album. Um, which not necessarily saying that you need to be eased into, because it's already pretty easy. But I mean, we were eased.
Indeed.
Well, to bring kind of some perspective where I was coming from with this album in particular and who Gerry Rafferty was, um, I remember very clearly the first time I heard Stuck in the Middle with You and thought, I've never heard this Bob Dylan song before. And it turns out it's exactly what it is. It's a Bob Dylan-esque song. And as far as that hit is concerned, that was the only bit I had ever known about Gerry Rafferty or really who he was. I know that he hung out with Billy Connolly, who was a really famous Scottish stand-up comedian. They actually had a band together called the Humble Bums, where Gerry was on guitar and Billy Connolly was on banjo, I believe. And knowing that, I expected maybe a little bit of that folky sound,
Yeah,
especially in this.
yeah. And did you
What?
hear why they broke up?
Why? Who broke up?
Why the humble bums, like why that didn't
Oh, I didn't. I didn't hear about that.
I guess that Jerry got sick of Billy Connolly stopping in between songs and telling jokes and like talking to the audience and shit. He's like he just wanted to play the music, but Billy Connolly kept wanting to, kind of do his own little act on stage. And I thought that was pretty great.
That's hilarious. That's really funny. Um, you could chalk that up to creative differences, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I didn't know that. Um, so yeah, that was kind of my background, and I knew his name was popular, and that a lot of people, especially rap artists, have sampled some of his work, especially Baker Street, which I know was a big hit. Um, so yeah, the Ark. I expected some of that Scottish traditionalist sound, and that's exactly what you get at the very opening of this track. It's very yeah, traditional. I was expecting more bagpipe, I guess. It's beautiful. I love Jerry's voice. It's kind of different from the old Bob Dylan sound that I knew him from. And the chorus is actually kind of a brilliant little thing where it marries both the Scottish sound and the sound of the verse together into one thing, which I liked and I think is a unique choice. Um, yeah, I agree. Not how I expected the album to open. And one more thing. I noticed I'm looking at the album cover, and that's usually how I take in the album first. I visually take it in, because usually the art has something to do with what the content of the record is on the inside. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is a bitchin' pose. He's sitting there and the guitar is coming out at us. It's in your face. I was expecting just him to be like the next Stevie Ray Vaughan or some Eric, the guy who did Cliffs of Dover. I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, I expected this shredding guitar master, and I get it's just slow, boring stuff. It was like I was.
Oh,
100%. That cover looks like this man is rocking way harder than he does on
Yeah.
the song on this album.
So yeah. So it's basically the metaphor for this, I would say, is I'm looking at this cannon and the guy's about to be shot out of it. It explodes and he just tumbles out the front. That's what I'm expecting entirely. So I kind of had a low start as well.
well, just to back up Jerry a little bit, there's a lot of great guitar on this. It may not be as in your face as the album cover, but there is some terrific guitar playing on this.
That
Even
doesn't
on
mean he's
bigger,
playing it though.
huh?
That doesn't mean he's playing it though.
No, that's true. But just
I
on the
agree.
album,
Yes.
so many times the saxophone takes over and you kind of miss the guitar. Um, but you know what's interesting about the Scottish influenced introduction is I never really gave that any thought until I listened to this for the first time in preparation for the podcast. Through your lenses, I'm going, oh God, what are they going to think of this? Literally that first section. To me, that was just noise. That was just Gerry Rafferty. That's just the start of a Gerry Rafferty song. I wasn't thinking of it as a Scottish influence or anything. It was just, but yeah, when I listened to it and thought of what will these guys think, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's bagpipe music right there. So that was interesting. I never really gave it a second thought previously. I think this one, like so many of Jerry's songs, you can interpret it based on your own feelings at the time, whether they be feelings of melancholy, hopefulness, just evoking memories. It can be happy, sad, or both. And I think that's what I like about his songs. I know all the words by heart, and I just love to sing along to these songs. And I was hoping with all this extra time, some of you would get there on a lot of these songs as well. And hopefully, we'll find out that you did. But yeah, I think of this as a mellow monster of a track and an appropriate introduction to the record, regardless of the cover, I guess.
Yeah, and despite pooping on it a little bit, I mean that's like I said, it's decent. I wasn't I don't think it's bad. I just wasn't expecting that slow of an opener. And I'm glad, Kale, that you said the Scottish traditional too, because like I said in my description, I got more of like a southern or a country western feel or whatever with what I thought were like strings, but now that I hear you say it, I'm like, oh, probably bagpipe. Yeah, that or accordion, as we'll hear again later. But anyway, are we ready to keep moving?
Well, I was just going to mention you had sent us a different podcast that talked about the record,
Hmm.
and they rated it very highly, and they were shocked by how good the record was, and la 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 la. And they thought,
Oh, showers of hits.
yes.
Shout
And they
out.
were wondering if, because they were so surprised, they rated it too high, and that in time, would they lower their rating? But it was a high rating because of the surprise. It was surprisingly good. Well, this thing, I don't think so. I think if you continue to listen to this over the course of your lives, it will only get better to you. this that's what it's done for me. So we shall see. Time will play out and tell us the tale. All right, moving on to track 2. It's the big one, the big number 1 seller, Baker Street.
Well, before we quite move on, I want to say I definitely agree with your point because there's a few songs on here where I think if they had caught me in a certain mood or a certain emotion, they would have hit a lot stronger than they did in these last few weeks I've been listening to it. Like, especially the last 2 weeks, now that I've been back on my route carrying, I'm back to looking for bangers. I'm back to looking for something that's gonna like keep me moving. And it's not that this album doesn't have it, but this album does have a handful of tracks that are absolutely not that. And those songs, are pretty much insta skips for me at work at this point. Now that I've, gotten a handful of listens into them just because that's not the vibe I'm going for. But yes, Baker Street, the icon, the absolute monolith on the album. I mean, come on. We got a nice little flute tickle, get you interested right off the bat. See, oh, what do we got going here? And then almost no time wasted. Boom, they smack you with that absolutely classic saxophone melody, alto saxophone. Shout out, you boy. Always appreciate a good alto sax. I played back in the day. Valley Champs, 2006. Shout out. Never forget. Anyway, that sax melody. I mean, to me, it could fit so many places, so many occasions, so many things going on in your life. But when I picture where that would be most ideal, to me, it's in an 80s movie, and most specifically in like an 80s, probably buddy cop drama or like buddy cop action movie where at one point like one of the cops is like down on his luck and it's maybe a montage scene or something, or maybe he just lost his wife or his kid or something, and like this sax riff is ripping in the background. I don't know, it's great for me. Maybe it's raining outside, it's like night in the city. Anyway, um verses don't really have a ton going on for me, but there's some cool stuff, especially as they build into the chorus. Specifically, there's a synth that tiptoes in right as you used to think that it was so easy. And there's this, and it's doing that little, and it sounds a lot like the synth from Riders of the Storm. Or I thought it was a synth until I decided to go look it up, and it turns out it's actually a Rhodes electric piano, and it is the exact same instrument as from that track. And I guess those were super popular, like starting in the 80s. And now I desperately want to own one because I'm a complete sucker for that sound. And anytime I hear it in any song, I know I'm going to love it. So that was kind of a cool discovery. Loved finding that out. And although they look kind of goofy, but very cool. And I feel so much smarter for not having to call that a synth now whenever I hear it. Finally, Hugh Burns. Speaking of people who play guitar who are not Gerry Rafferty, Hugh Burns is the gentleman who rips the guitar solo on this track. And he's on quite a few other records, along with some big names. He's done stuff with Paul McCartney, Wham, and the Pet Shop Boys as well. Also, he played on Steelers Wheel with Gerry Rafferty. And I had no idea who they were or that they sang Stuck in the Middle with You, even though I knew that song and was super familiar with it. But of course, once I heard that or once I read that on Wikipedia, that connected in 2 seconds with me. I was like, oh, of course that's Gerry Rafferty's voice. It's like so easy to tell now. Anyway, awesome track. Made a lot of awesome connections for me too. So obvious banger.
Yeah, it is an obvious banger. I mean, it's been a banger and continues to be a banger. It's Gerry's biggest hit. Most people know it. It's got the iconic intro starting with the quiet flute, as Bart had mentioned, and the cymbal crashes. And oddly, those cymbal crashes are quiet, which is weird. And so, boom, the sax. Boom, so wonderful. Again, as Bart said, set out alto sax. Valley Champs.
Oh. Hey, you weren't.
Well, yeah, third, but appears that sax riff appears several times throughout the song. There's so many things happening in the background of the song. It's impressive. whether it's the bongos or the triangles. Uh, every time I listen, it just keeps seeming to be more stuff I notice each time I listen to the song, and that's awesome. It's an instant classic. I mean, I don't think there's been a hit song, and I'm not sure if this is a positive or what this says about the song, but I don't know if there's been a hit song that like has significant radio play that I know less words to.
Yes, definitely.
I know, like, the words that come to me that I know for sure is he's a rolling stone. Like that's what I got. Like I can't sing anything else to you. Like if I was like, oh, we're gonna sing Baker. Like if someone went, usually if that was a different song, I'd hop right into the beginning vocals just instantly because I know what song it is, and I'm like, I know what song that is. Don't know the beginning lyrics. Sorry, man. Can't continue your vibe. But So obviously I knew the song as we're going into it, this one, and right down the line, and then of course I was familiar with "Stuck in the Middle of You." That I did not know that was Gerry Rafferty, and to me personally, I can't place his voice in that. When I sing it in my head, it sounds much too nasally in my head rather than compared to this album. He's just like stuck in the middle of you. For some reason he's so much. It
That's
sounds
pretty good.
Stuck in the middle. It's so
That's-
much more nasally sounding in that, so I didn't know, and I still can't even like picture it really. But yeah, I mean, banger song. And boys, we're kind of lacking on the energy here, and I don't know if that's the songs going on, but we're only 2 songs in, and we're 20 minutes in, so we're taking our time.
It's a slow burn.
Okay, first of all, I don't think I'm low energy personally.
You're
So
all right.
why don't you not generalize the comment here, and why don't we call some people out if
Maybe
you guys,
that's to save
why
people's
don't you say
feelings.
it as I'm saying, say with your chest? Second of all, I mean, if we're having good conversation, good comments about the songs, I don't see anything wrong with the length. I don't think
For sure.
any of our listeners are concerned about the duration of the podcast. I mean,
Some might
it's
be.
not like they're trying to fit these in their 30-minute lunch break, or
All right.
at least if they've listened to an episode or two, they ought to know better by now. So
All right, I'm just saying.
anyway,
All right.
Are you done, Jack?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, Baker Street. You guys mentioned all that I wanted to say, of course. It's difficult. What? What?
do that on purpose.
um, it's difficult for me to write notes about really popular songs like this because they're just difficult to criticize at times because they can be so good. The saxophone is wonderful. It's a beautiful riff, a timeless riff, if you will.
I will.
I would like to point out the phenomenal mixing. This is a great showcase of a number one hit, not number one hit, but a top 40 hit with really, really good mixing. I always got a Jackson Browne vibe from this song. I don't know if anybody else does. Maybe it's something about Jerry's voice. Maybe it's something about the songwriting. I like that. I like the way he sounds.
I could maybe see that. I have a limited Jackson Browne experience, but from what I've heard, I could see it. I think he'd fit right in with kind of the soft rock West Coast musicians
Yeah.
of the era.
There you go. I would only add that the vocals on this are so silky smooth, as is his phrasing for me. And that's why every verse is such a sing along must. Right from the first words, winding your way down, just silky smooth, so sweet. And then there's an epic guitar solo in there that accompanies the sax to bring the song home and leave it echoing in your head. A little housekeeping before we move on. I would like to mention one, I'm in on the Rhodes The electric piano also, if playing notes makes me sound like the Doors, I want one of those too.
Mhm.
So yeah, send me a link if you find something online.
It almost sounds like you could just dabble around doing whatever you
Yeah,
wanted and it would just
yeah.
sound cool. I'm
And be
serious.
Ray Manzarek, and boom,
Yeah.
suddenly, yeah.
Maybe I'm just overconfident as usual, but I just feel like I could just start messing around on there and it would sound great.
I would also like to mention to those of you who said, "Oh, I never knew he was Steeler's wheel and stuck in the middle with you." Of course, I mentioned that when on the previous end of the previous podcast, when I said it's going to be Gerry Rafferty's City to City, I said, "Of course, you'll know his voice from Steeler's wheel stuck in the middle with you." And thank you all for listening.
Listening.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yep.
And lastly, I mean, this is a podcast. We're supposed to be talking, and I don't know that the time thing. What's that? If we're sharing information, that doesn't necessarily mean low energy. It might mean extra energy because we've got plenty to say.
Okay.
Devil, devil's
You're
advocate.
you're saying you're it's a slow burn for you. You're not trying to pack it all into those first few songs.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I could be talking fast and might have a lot, so it takes time.
All right,
Uh,
keeping right on down the line.
Boom.
Oh, that's the name of the next song. Right down the line, boys and girls. Probably the second biggest song on the record, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, I'd also say second biggest sleeper, but that's just because I was sleeping on it a little bit the first few times I listened through. I mean, obviously not the second most popular, but um, I hadn't heard this one before, and it grabbed me very quickly and hasn't let go yet. Just really love the all-around vibe on this one. Very chill. There's some fun little percussion nuggets going on in your stereo headphones. I don't know what they're banging on, but I like it. Again, I
That's
don't
what she said. Sorry.
I don't really love Jerry's chorus, but the rest of the song really does it for me, so I can live with it. And I actually maybe like this guitar solo more than Baker Street's. I mean, I guess I don't know if you can call it a solo because it's also the opening of the song, but I just really like how the sound fits into the song, and I just like that sound in general, that kind of echoey guitar. I don't know what that effect is, what's going on. Maybe it's a pedal or something, but or how I should describe it exactly, but I really like that.
Yeah, double whammy, baby. Jerry with the back-to-back bangers. While not complex as Baker Street, right down the line makes up for that with genuine emotion about his wife helping him to deal with his alcoholism. The song is so groovy and puts me in a great mood each and every time I hear it without fail. This is definitely my vault pick. Uh, yeah, bold for me to say this early and to reveal
Wow.
that, but this is where my vote's going.
I
Ooh.
could I could definitely get behind that.
Right on down the line, as Bart mentioned, a great laid back feel. Love the soft guitar work. Um, Sucker for the good guitar solos, and this is no exception. I agree with Jack as well. I really like this song, maybe even more so than Baker Street. Um, Art mentioned he didn't like the chorus, but I will happily point out that the pre-chorus has some wonderful harmonies, a la the Eagles, going back to that Southern rock thing for me. Um, and it's lovely. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, I think this is maybe his most uplifting song on the album. And it's a true love song. It's not sappy, just a clear eyed look at someone who has been there right down the line. A nice chill beat, a little calypso feel, kind of. And it's matter of fact. yet heartfelt lyrics. I think a sweet spot of a love song. Lyrics like, if I should doubt myself, if I'm losing ground, I won't turn to someone else. They'd only let me down. That's sweet. Excellent. Not, like I say, not sappy, just kind of the sweet spot of love songs. Um, Matter of fact, that's the way you do it. Let's move on to the next track, which is the title track, City to City.
Am I still coming? Okay.
Yes.
You guys can hear me all right?
Mhm.
Okay. Excellent. Well, in that case, City to City. Wow, gross intro. Just gross. Disgusting. I always remember this as the "Day Yay 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 Yay" song. Also gross. Just this song, I listened to this probably 3 times today, just for the sake of the pod, trying to get something out, and it honestly gave me a headache. I've been battling the headache this song gave me for the rest of the afternoon. It does have a nice harmonica solo. I will say one nice thing. I do like the harmonica solo. Um, when I think of this song, I remember it as the goodnight song, because he says about 1 billion times, "Hey, good night." So good night. You know what he says good night about 1 million times. So I know he doesn't do it on the track, but I'm gonna give this song a good night.
Wow.
Drop the mic.
Cold.
Yeah, picking it up a bit tempo-wise with City to City, which in my opinion should be named Goodnight Train, for obvious reasons.
Oh,
Not
nice.
once does he say City to City in this song.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it named that? Jerry, please let me know. Love the harmonica being used as a train sound. Not the first time it's been used for that, nor will it be the last, but it's still real
Hold
good.
on. I'm gonna pause for a second.
Yeah.
Does our father have a weird
Thing with
thing
harmonica trains.
train horns in any form, however they can be reproduced? Do you have any other train albums in your discography that you can think of?
Well, now you've stolen my
Oh,
each.
well, that's no spoilers. Then we'll hold off. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
I could name Chug a Lug, Roger Miller,
Oh, you mean engine number 9?
Engine Number 9. That's what I meant, yeah. Chug a Lug sounds like a train song.
King of the Road.
But
Railroad.
for sure, there's several. Anyways, it's nor will it be the last, but it's still real good each time. It's the train instrument. Great song that picks up the energy a little bit. Yeah.
My first note is okay. Excuse me. My first note is okay. It's called City to City, but it has a country intro. Then my second note is boo. Boo.
What does
Boo.
that mean?
Boo.
Hell yeah. Boo.
Was that your last note?
No,
Oh.
my last is this. I enjoyed the harmonica very much as well. But you guys said it a lot, so
Yeah.
best not to repeat.
Well, I got to do house cleaning again, or housekeeping, I should say. It's quick, so I don't blame you for missing it. But he does say "city to city" in this song one time. And I'd like to do a quick survey on how this stacks up with other train songs from past podcasts.
It's train time with Mark.
Which is tops? Blackfoot's Train, Roger Miller's King of the Road, or Gerry Rafferty's City to City? Vote now, vote often. I don't get the hate for this. This is the track most likely to make people move, I think. It's nice, upbeat, an undeniable chorus that glides. Huh?
Yeah, it makes me want to
Maybe
move to change the record.
Bowel movements?
Maybe
Is that
you're
what
like the bottom class of the Titanic about to do a jig on some wood pallets.
No.
What else you're moving to this?
I
Don't play
don't,
this in my wedding.
I don't get it. There's a sweet harmony break on this one, but that's okay. Different strokes for different folks. So we will move on to this is a sweet track, Stealing Time.
Oh, can I steal some time to go make one more drink?
Should we be
All right.
surprised?
I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll steal my time after I talk. So, stealing time. Our electric piano is back right off the bat. So, you already know I'm gonna love this one. And this is what I'd like to call a snoozer.
A
You
snoozer.
guys, it's nice though. It's so nice. You know, just because I'm saying snoozer alert does not mean I'm pooping on this song. It is really nice. And you think there's a point in the song where if you don't know, you think it might explode when he crosses that line. Literally says he's about to cross that line, but we're still chilling. And I don't have a lot to say about this song as far as musically, but I am curious, how do you guys think he's stealing time? What is he doing to steal time? For me personally, I wonder if it's when he's going into a booze fugue. Um, but part of what I love about some of these Gerry Rafferty songs is that they're ambiguous enough to let you put your own kind of spin behind them, or let your own imagination decide how you want the song to relate to you, or what you want its meaning to be. So I'd love to hear what you guys think he means by stealing time. Then I'm gonna go make a drink.
Mm. Well, you asked the question and I've got an answer. I have no idea. Um,
So a non-answer.
Excellent.
yeah, I don't know.
All right, Kale, any ideas?
Stealing time.
Not about the song, just about what he means. Because I'm sure Jack will have something else to say.
I think whatever it is, I think it's something that feels pleasurable but is ultimately indulgent and unhealthy. That could be sex, that could be pills, it could be anything, but I think that's what he means by stealing time. Because stealing gives the connotation of it's bad, time is something we all want more of. That's just my interpretation, but
Okay.
I think he gives us hints in the lyrics. Stealing time is away from the hustle and bustle of work, society, whatever, and himself, he and the family or whatever are chilling and finding time for themselves or stealing time for themselves. That's how I interpret it.
Okay. I'm
I can
actually
get behind that.
what you guys have to say about this one, so I'll wait to steal my time until the next track.
Okay. We picked it up only to step on the brakes almost immediately with stealing time, tempo-wise on the album, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in this case. I dig the song. It's chill to the max. There's a whole lot. There's not a whole lot going on, but that's to the song's benefit, I think. It can't be this chill with a lot going on, if you know what I mean. Really, the only standout thing during this track are Jerry's little vocal riffs during the fade out, and when he teases us about that, I'm gonna cross that line.
It seems like he's about to go in.
And then doesn't do anything with it.
It doesn't though.
But this song is definitely a vibe for sure. It's pretty good.
Also, I just changed my mind while listening to you, Jack. I'm no longer saying snoozer alert. I'm now calling this a porch rocker.
Nice.
Get it? Ha 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 ha. Come on, that's pretty good. You have to tell me I already know.
Yes, the stripped down approach allows for better sound quality, I think. I like simple stuff. And simple is good, as Jack suggested. Great bass work. Jerry's voice, I think, is perfect in this song. I love his phrasing, especially on the chorus and verses. I also love the keyboard work, and I don't find it annoying. Sometimes I can find the keyboards to be annoying, but here it's very lovely and works well with the tone of the piece. Wonderful guitar solo. Given all of the guitar solos that are on this record, this one by far is my favorite. The chorus is easy to hum along to, which is great. And I love the Cross That Line section very much. So I went from City to City, which sucked, to this, which I enjoyed very much.
Which sucked.
This is another mellow monster. Wow. That voice, yes, a fairly sparse accompaniment, thank goodness, because that allows me to effortlessly sing along to this bad boy. And because I'm shy, I roll up my vehicle windows first before I start belting it out, so that I don't have to hold back one bit. I think,
I feel like this is a perfect song to sing really loud because you don't have to hit any crazy notes, right? Like, because Gerry kind of keeps it in the middle, so that's why I feel like he's so good to sing along with, because you don't have to work that hard and like sound really bad to sing along. You know, you can kind of keep it in your comfort zone and still be all right.
yeah, that's exactly right. I have no range anymore. The falsetto is not there. And that's exactly right. He's, someplace I can live vocally, maybe not on tune, or in tune, but nonetheless, I think this is a hauntingly beautiful song.
It's fantastic.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, next up, Maddie's Rag.
Maddie is rag. I can't help whenever I think about this, like he's saying like this chick's on her period. I don't know why. That's just what I think when I read this title. I mean, like contextually, there's not really anything there for that, but that's just what I think of. Anyway, we got some of the folksiness stuff in this one, with the strings or accordion and the actual piano, not electric piano. But I don't hate it this time around. I think Gerry's vocal melodies are what keep me in this one. Just the way he sings this one, um, is is just great. It really just drags me along. Well, that and I think it's the accordion. At first, I thought it was like an oboe or something, like doing the do 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 do. But then I saw there wasn't anything like no woodwind or anything other than the saxophone credited on the album. But there was an accordion credited on this track, so it almost has to be that. That, and I'm pretty sure the accordion is also like subtly playing chords throughout the song, aside from when it really comes in on the outro, like I'm talking about. Um, anyway, this song really decent.
Okay.
Yeah, Maddie's Bag, the shortest song on the album.
Rag,
Or bag?
That's what I said, bag. Isn't it bag?
It's rag.
Rag.
Oh, same
Rag.
thing. Shortest song at it's just a breath of 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Yes, that is the shortest. That is the shortest timestamp on this album. A song he wrote for
But who's counting?
Jack, evidently. Did you even listen to the album? Maddie's
He
Bag.
hates
Come
long
on.
songs.
I don't hate long songs.
Yeah, you do.
I have said almost nothing but praise for the last 5 songs, and they're all over 4 minutes.
Ooh.
So I will have enough of this slander. Okay.
Someone's sensitive about it.
But boy, if you go over 5,
Half the songs are over 5.
Okay.
Okay. A song he wrote for his daughter, Maddie's Rag, has a nice feeling going with an eerily similar woodwind sound. Oh, I guess it's not woodwind. He told me if it's not woodwind. I'm just going to say an eerily similar sound to the Toy Story theme song as the main instrumental. Give it a listen. The similarities are there.
Are you comparing Maddie's Rag to the Toy Story theme song?
Yes.
Is it specifically kind of the accordion outro?
Yes. Well,
Yeah, I can
no, it's
see it.
throughout the song. It's the sound throughout the song.
All right, people at home, in case you're wondering, want to make a Behance banger, a pod cocktail, if you will.
Oh God.
Get your ice, get your some Tanqueray. That's 2 ounces of Tanqueray. That's a 2 count if it still has the filter on it for all my bartenders out there. And just some Minute Maid lemonade. Perfect.
All right.
Nice little summer pod drink. Perfect for porch rocking.
And just a
This
reminder
podcast is brought to you by.
to our listeners out there, if you're drinking alone, you may have a problem.
But I'm not. I'm with my boys.
But you're drinking alone.
Anyways, it's a very sweet song filled with sounds that remind you of childhood. Very fitting for one written about his own daughter. Or four.
Oh yes, the rag. I love rag and ragtime music very much. Um, Hale, what is ragtime music? I'll tell you, kids at home. Um, Ragtime music, basically, it's from the early 20th century. Thinking Scott Joplin, the entertainer, classic ragtime music. And in the theme of what ragtime music sounds like, Gerry does a really wonderful job. It simultaneously mixes that Randy Newman esque Toy Story ish sound, if you will, with a very lovely poetic lyric about his daughter. But weirdly, also one that, as far as music goes, I could see people drinking in a bar to a long time ago, during those early ragtime days, gathered around a piano and hoisting a mug of something. Um, but yeah, it's a lovely, lovely little tune and little sweet spot.
As you guys have mentioned, it's a song inspired by his daughter. Her name is Martha, not Matilda, as maybe you would first think. Is Matilda a Scottish name? It sounds like it would be Scottish. Matilda. But Martha seems more English. Well, regardless, this is
Marta.
the most happy, excited lyrics on the album. He is well, yes, it's mostly implied when you talk about Gerry Rafferty. It's not overt, but it's there. He's genuinely excited to be home. And it's a nice example of the joy a little human can bring to a life. This one always makes me feel good and feel more optimistic. Oh boy, this next one, ooh, in the right mood, it'll make you cry. Whatever's written in your heart.
Have you guys seen the meme? I know one of you Hollywood squares won't have seen it, but have either of the other two of you seen the meme where it's like oof level and it's like a guy going like this and then it's like a laundry cycle on like how big the oof is? You guys know what I'm talking
Nope.
about? All right, well, that might be too advanced level of a meme for you guys, but uh
Oh, the
this
Redditor.
is a big oof for me. And it's really too bad because I can tell that this song has a lot of potential, but like I talked about earlier, I just was not in the mood for this song in these last 3 weeks. I even really like some of the lines in this one. I even remixed some of them. Like, you know, talked all night and left it all unsaid. But I like to say, we talked all night and then you left me on red. But that being said, this just it never really clicked with me. I feel like again, if it caught me in the right mood, it would have banged, but I just haven't been up for a ballad like this lately, so it's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, an extremely beautiful song that definitely has a time and place. I don't think this song does much to me except make me yawn during a typical full album listen through, and it can make it feel like the album is really stretching, and the 6.5 minute runtime doesn't do the song any favors with that. Uh, um, I mean, you get Stealing Time, and then the brief moment that is Maddie's Rag, as in it's like half the runtime of the majority of the other songs in this album. Like you just forget about that, and then you're down to whatever's written in your heart, and you're like, damn, has this same song been going for the last 20 minutes? If you're just going straight through, it can seem like a drag. But that being said, I'm still acknowledging that the song is beautiful. Truly on its own, this song is where it shines. I mean, it's very beautiful and could bring me to tears in the right circumstances. But I don't think the right circumstances is in an album listen through. It's really not what it is. I mean, it has to be on an album because it's a song, right? And it has to be released through an album, typically. And it's not a single by any means. So, yeah, it's got to be put on an album. But, like, I would probably usually skip this if I wasn't, like, at a funeral or something trying to cry.
Oh,
Well, variety is the spice of life, and this album has a certain amount of variety. Um, and this is a piece that I think showcases that. And I think, kind of strategically, if you're going in order of the album, it's a nice, refreshing change of pace from Maddie's Rag to something a little bit more introspective and a little bit more personal. Um, I love whatever's written in your heart. It's a beautiful piece. The lyrics are wonderful. And I think Gerry's singing is also really great. He does ballads very, very well. And that's a rare gift for actually more singers than I think a lot of people realize. Um, but yeah, this has a great sound. And I think that if you're in the right mood, as everybody has mentioned so far, and in the right place, and you close your eyes and listen to it, it's very moving and speaks for itself.
well, it's part of the journey, right? I mean, that we're on from city to city. Um, I guess for me, having listened to it enough and knowing it by heart, that it just takes me there. Whether I was there, that's how powerful it is. It's like a hymn, and yeah, really hits me emotionally. If I attach the lyrics to something or someone in my life, I'm I'm gone, done. Um, and it's very cathartic. Um, I would I was going to give this an honorable mention vault vote, but that's probably a wasted vote at this point. But I was afraid of that choosing this album, that there would be some reservation to its overall mellowness. So it's not entirely surprising either. A little pushback on that. However, not all that mellow or emotional is home and dry.
Again, though, I don't want to. I don't want to sound like I was really saying that song was trash or anything. I just really didn't think it hit me in the right at the right time in the right place. I think that song has a ton of potential. I just not in these last couple weeks.
Yeah, I
So
think I said
in
the
that
same.
respect, yeah, you did definitely. In that respect, I kind of agree with you. Touching on what the other podcast said as far as how does this album hold up over a longer period of time, a longer period of familiarity. And I would say that the more time you have to associate these songs with specific memories or feelings, the more potent they would be. So
Yeah, valid. Yeah, totally.
definitely agree there. We moving on?
We are.
All right, Home and Dry, the second or maybe third or maybe more track about coming home, or more specifically, coming home to see a woman.
Mhm.
Makes me feel like Gerry must have gotten homesick on tour a little bit, or something like that. I don't know. He likes to kind of wax poetic about coming home a little bit. Anyway, makes me feel bad, but I really don't have a lot else on this one. This one is a total dud for me. But actually, no, I do have one other thing. Because this song and the last song are the only two songs. Well, first of all, they're the two songs I have the least notes on, and they're the only two songs on Amazon Music that don't have the lyrics built into them that you can listen to, which is saying, maybe I'm onto something here, and maybe these are lowest in popularity for a reason. I don't know. Like I said, whatever's written in your heart, I think it's actually all right. This one though, meh. This is the toss for me.
Home and Dry. Every time I hear the beginning of this song, I want to go, hey, 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 because it sounds identical to Don't You by Simple Minds, as Dad informed me earlier. He didn't tell me that they sound identical. I had just forgotten all of the lyrics to that song besides, hey, 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 hey. I couldn't remember the name of the song. That's all I could remember. I had such a huge brain.
Hey, the first time I thought you were doing Miserloo or something for a second.
No, but they sound identical. I did the thing. I put them back to back. The first 3 seconds of both, the same, identically.
I've never caught that.
Yeah, I'll show you after this. They sound identical. Besides the big hit at the beginning of "Don't You," like the bam bam. Besides that part, they're identical. And really, the whole sound of the song, I believe, is kind of ahead of its time by 2 years. Sounding distinctly 80s to me. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to say about the song. It's pretty decent. Nothing to stand out, but I think it's a little bit ahead of its time. I think it's very 80s sounding.
That's a good point, Jack. And considering that now, that kind of gives me a different perspective on the album as a whole. Especially in looking back at the song we just heard before that. Excuse me, not just before that. Stealin' Time is the one I'm thinking about, particularly with the keyboard work being at the front instead of the back. And for pop music, that's kind of an influential thing, so that might affect my score at the end. But nevertheless, Home and Dry, didn't give this one a whole lot of listens, just because of interest. And I'm kind of in the same place as Bart. This one's kind of a stinker.
Wow, this is very surprising to me. I always thought Home and Dry was a very strong track. And for me, this album has a great order to the songs. It never gets too maudlin as he follows up the mellowest songs with something a little more up-tempo, at least up-tempo in his world. This is case in point. He follows up very emotionally taxing song with this soaring, flying home to you song. I think this song has great energy. It's upbeat and has some nice guitar parts rather, and makes this one a pleasure for me. I've always enjoyed it, but I enjoy them all. So don't listen to me. Biased. Next track is called Island.
So, quick interlude. I had some time over the course of the pod to look into these Rhodes pianos. Once you mentioned you were trying to go in on one. Wow, they must be pretty sought after. Cheapest one I could find on eBay is still over $2,000.
Habsies?
More than I was expecting, and am prepared to drop it this time. So and turns out they're made by Fender, which is also kind of interesting to me. But pretty cool. But still gonna have to be a dream for the near future.
Wait, did you check Facebook Marketplace?
I didn't. But I'm sure there'll be hot single Rhodes pianos near me if I looked. Anyway, Island. Sax is back, baby. Not as strong this time, but as a former alto saxophonist, I'm always a sucker for some saxophone in the track. We're kind of in Margaritaville with this one, which I don't really mind either. I don't know what Jack's up to unless he was just shaking up a margarita right there in his shaker. Or is that a I just stole his note? Tough to
Pass the
say.
torch.
We'll never know. Um, uh, there's a line on this song I really like. It's you know that on my own, I don't make it alone. I need someone who needs me. And that line hits real close to home for me. So that made me fall in love with this track a little bit. If I had to say it in 2 words, I'd say this one is just okay.
Yeah, a very pretty song with plenty of sax. If you're searching for a sax song, or if you woke up to today and were really craving a more mellow Jimmy Buffett with a lot of sax, this is your song, baby. Uh, you know, I mean that's the song
I
to a
love,
T. That's the song to
I
a
love
T.
morning sax.
Yeah, a little. You're not quite the party animal,
Sorry.
Margaritaville Jimmy Buffett
Sorry.
yet. You're mellow. You're mellow with a lot of sax. That's the song. It's all
Sax
right.
appeal.
The sax appeal. It's all right.
Well, as Jack mentioned, this song is very saxy. Love the sax. Wonderful. And I actually had just got off work the first time I heard this song. And I decided to just kind of hang out in the backyard. And I put this song on and just kind of sat down and relaxed after a hard day's work. And it hit the spot very, very nicely. And to that end, I attached to sound of this song very, very much. It's very laid back, almost to the extreme, like they're trying too hard to lay back, but luckily not too far. But it's a nice little piece.
Yeah, and I think the saxophone and the lyrics reflect the vibe of the music. Getting away from that city life, reconnecting with each other on an island. Obviously, kind of a summer feeling song for us in the Midwest, but a tune that can transport you to your own little island any time of year. Yeah, I've always found this as kind of a neat little change of pace near the end of the album. And speaking of the end of the album, here it is, the last track on the LP, Waiting for the Day.
Wow, we had so little to say about Island. I love it. Because that just gets us that much closer to this one. Waiting for the day. On the surface, you think, okay, it's just your average rocker. Don't get me wrong, that's not a dig, but doesn't there's not a lot that stands out off the bat. But you stick it out and then it happens. 1 minute and 55 seconds hits, and it's water of life, pour your life down on me. Oh, I live for that part. I live for it. I've probably rewound that section of the song 80 times this week. Sing the whole thing. Probably again, if I listen to this song, get to that part, sing it all the way through, rewind that part again, sing it all the way through, rewind that part again, sing it all the way through, then let the next verse play, get to the second time that part comes up, sing all the way through that one, rewind it, sing all the way through that one, rewind it. I guess I'll maybe let the song finish, but then by the time the song's almost over, I'm like, I want to go back to that part again. Rewind back to that part again. Maybe even rewind back to the first one again, so I can go through that one, go through another verse, and then get to the second one again. Fantastic. This whole song for me is built off the water of life and the water so sweet you can open my eyes. I don't even need to say anymore. We get another pretty gnar guitar solo. That makes waiting for the second Water of Life not so bad, but that's what I'm purely invested for at this point. That's really all I need. I wish the whole song was that. Why I need him to make a B-side that's called Water of Life, and he just recreates that vibe because that's what this one's all about.
Okay. Uh, I don't have a whole lot to say about this song besides that the sudden switch from the nice, slow, and quiet chorus that Bart mentioned, the Water of Life, that's the chorus. And then the chugging of the verses. The verses, it's like reversed. Like the verses are more upbeat than the chorus. And the sudden switch back and forth I find kind of hysterical. And it's also like intriguing to have that kind of flip of the slow chorus and like the faster verses. Um, and that the chorus is slower and quieter than the entire rest of the song. But overall, I think the song's just decent. Decent.
Whatever, man. You don't understand.
These are you don't understand.
You
You need
need
to
a
drink
sip of that water.
the
Wait
water
till
of
you're
life.
21, then you'll get it.
Oh man. I almost called it water of life. Um, waiting for the day. Lovely. Really great way to end this album. I love the closing feel that it has, and it's exciting and takes us, weirdly enough, to the most differentiated parts of this album as far as tone is concerned. It goes from really high to really low within a matter of seconds. As a matter of fact, 1 minute 55 seconds. Really nice piece. I have very little to say about this one that hasn't been said before.
Okay. It's funny to hear Bart describe how you listen to that one section because that's exactly how I listen to Happiness is a Warm Gun on the Beatles' White Album. Intro is boring, dumb, and then that chorus and Paul's vocal, bang, happiness. And I just do that over and over. And it's just like, love it so much.
Bang,
But
bang.
But yeah, the juxtaposition of kind of the rock element of this song and then the slow chorus, I think makes for a fabulous song that for me is a blast to sing along to. The difference between this and Happiness is a Warm Gun is I like singing along to the rocking part of this one too. I like both sections equally well. But a great song to end the album on an up note. Perfect. And that is City to City. I think, Bart, how you experienced that piece on this song, I hope if you continue to check this out and go back to it, I think you will find those things on most songs on the album, as I have. Not a stinker for me on this album, given time and listens. So that's it.
I mean, Waiting for the Day alone makes me want to make my own song where I feel that part of that song and then I fill in the rest to make an even more superior song. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm glad that I have this one in the repertoire. And I think it'll be nice to have a few of these songs like Whatever's Written in Your Heart and I think the Arc too, as songs that they have room to grow, I'll say. You know, like when the right moment or the right time or situation comes along and I'm looking for something to hit that emotional key, those could slide right in. And the rest of the album, I mean, there's a few skippers, but what album doesn't have that? Maybe they'll turn into great ones. But to me, it's always nice to hear some of the OGs and see where modern influences could have come from. Find maybe some samples I've heard before, whatever. And now I actually know who Gerry Rafferty is. You know, when before this week I had no freaking clue. If somebody asked me who Gerry Rafferty is, I don't know what I would say. I would just say I don't know. One last bonus that came with me listening to this, aside from again the fantastic discovery of the Rhodes electric piano, along with making some other connections, is that for some reason this week, even not even the last 2 weeks, just this week, whenever I finish the album, I listen on Amazon Music, as some of you may know. Not sponsored. But Amazon kept deciding to turn the end of this album into a station once I finished listening to it, instead of normally when I finish, it just repeats. But instead, it started to start turning. I don't know if the app got updated or what, but it started turning into a station. So it would randomly play, songs that it thought I would like after listening to that. And one of those was Blue Bayou by Linda Ronstadt, which I had never heard before and I really liked. So I added Blue Bayou to my music this week. And maybe I'll listen to some more Linda Ronstadt this week. I don't know, but I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, Spotify does that.
Yeah, mine always went to Summer Breeze by Susan Crofts. That's the next song.
Mine was different every time. Just one of them happened to be Blue Bayou.
Oh, funny.
Check out there's the Roy Orbison version of Blue Bayou is also very good.
Roy, there's a voice.
All right, let's rate this bad boy.
Oh yeah, rating. Forgot about that.
Every day.
Wait,
every time.
What about a vault? Did we do the vault?
We do that after the rating.
Okay.
We did not do the
Hale and Jack. I mean, we had almost a month to listen to this album. Were you guys pretty regularly listening throughout those 3 weeks or so, or did you guys kind of take a break after the first week, or like after 1 week of listening? Were you still like ready to keep going? Were you kind of burnt out on it? I'm curious how your guys' listens went, because I grinded this one pretty hard, even like against my own will sometimes, just to really try and get the reps in. So I was curious, because I mean I wasn't burnt out on it, but I knew there were only maybe 4 songs I wanted to listen to, and the rest would be more like, all right, let's just get some more time in with these.
I took a break after that first week because, as I kind of mentioned or had alluded to, is that when you hit that stealing time and the Maddie's bag becomes an after rag. I have it written as bag here. Sorry, becomes like a quick afterthought, and then you get into whatever's written in your heart. It's like, man, this feels like it's been going on for like 40 minutes already. Like this slow stuff. And it's like, that's not where I want to be at work. And like, I'd be going through like after that first week, I would be going through like slumps anyways, being like, I'm not motivated at all for various reasons. And so it's like, I'm not going to be able to put myself through listening until the next time. And so this week I gave it another listen or two afterwards, but I hadn't between the first week and that time.
Fellow podcasters, please keep in mind your job is to keep Jack moving at work, damn it, and no 6 minutes
and me.
Yeah, what the heck? Like, I've said it one time, and this guy says it every episode.
Sometimes the slow jams can get me.
It's the Hound Jack episode this week, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I get it, but it's fun to,
Shit, you think you're gonna hound it this week? I can go way harder next week.
Wait till you tell us what your album is.
Yeah, wait till we
That'll
get
be
to
the test.
Well, you're the one
What
who
do
has
you
to pick
got?
this week.
Another-
You guys get to pick, so it'll be of your own choosing.
Oh, that's a turnabout.
Anyways, how about you, Kale?
I forgot what the question was. What was
How'd
it
your
again?
listening go? Did you stop
How
after
was
the
my
first
listening?
week, or did you keep going?
I did like I marathoned it as I usually do the first 2 weeks. But in addition to the laundry list of music that I wanted to listen to, and that sort of the fact that I get tired usually after 2 weeks and kind of want to move on to something else, and write the first draft of notes and then the second one. I was kind of burnt out a little bit, just a little bit. But I enjoyed the album very, very much. I was just ready. I was ready to move on at that point.
I just listened to the other podcast that Bart texted us and made notes from what they said and didn't listen to the album at all.
Well, you wouldn't have needed to since you have it all committed to memory and know every line of every song.
I listened to it throughout the time often, and it was a pleasure to do so. And I will continue to do that for the next couple of weeks, probably, because I'm into it again.
Awesome.
Yeah, baby.
Is everyone able to do ratings now?
I believe it. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll get mine out there. 3.
That's right. You only work on solid numbers.
That is correct.
I kind of like to keep this in the middle of the
Don't you roll your eyes at me, Kale? I could see that through your 6-bit camera, bro.
It's bad lighting.
No. All right, what were you saying, Bart?
Well, I wanted to look because I was thinking I would kind of put this in my slightly above middle of the pack range, which I thought would be like a 3.6, 3.7. But then I see some of the other albums I've given that rating, like Warren Zevon, and I'd say it's probably better than that. And I'd say it's probably better than wait, oh, that wasn't mine. Never mind. Anyway, I don't know. I have it higher than some of these other ones I'm looking at. So I'm gonna go 3.8 on 3.8 with growth potential up to probably a 4.
Nice.
Gary's lovely. I will give him a 4.
4.2 for moi.
4.2, you said?
Yes.
Sorry, I was busy trying to exaggerate my eye rolls at Kale because he used a whole number.
He missed it.
It's willful ignorance.
All right, that brings our average to 3.75.
Hey, not bad.
That's pretty good.
Good job,
And
Jer.
time to discuss the vault.
Let's just cut to the chase, shall we? And admit what we have to admit here.
Right down the line, baby.
I mean,
Close.
I know what
It's close.
Dad's saying. And I want to say right down the line as well because it's my preferred between the two.
Yeah.
But let's be real. I mean, this is like not picking All Star on Smash Mouth Astro Lounge. You got to pick Baker Street. Period.
No, they're both huge songs. It's not even like a gigantic. I mean, it's 40 million listens different, but it's still 70
Significant.
million listens. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hey.
is it Baker Street then? Anybody else?
I'm with you guys to the point that, I've got a little burn factor on Baker Street. So for me, yeah, right down the line is better for me right now. But that's because I'm just burn on Baker Street. But not necessarily if I remove that emotion, which is the better song, Probably Baker Street by a nose.
Okay, are you in accordance with them?
I am. Yes.
Sheep.
You sheep, Matt.
All right,
Lemming.
Baker Street has been entered into the vault. Put that in the vault
Sick.
playlist.
Sweet.
And now that brings me to the choice you guys have to make.
Oh
All
boy.
right.
3 options, which I highly doubt the third will be even considered, but I have to add it. Number 1.
Let's go with the third one. I go with the third one.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it. So we have alt rock, an alt rock album from 2004, a pop album from 2016, or a revisitation of the Arctic Monkeys. Is it too soon for that, or should we wait some
Yep.
more? That's why the third one.
That's damn tempting because I'm pretty sure I know what album you'd pick,
Yeah.
and I'm big on the AM, but I think that's too close to Kaiser Chiefs for me,
Sure.
and potentially for the audience. So
Well, we already did AM, if that's what you're alluding to.
no, I was just calling the Arctic Monkeys that.
Oh, right. Okay.
So what did you say? 2016 pop or what?
Or 2004 alt rock.
Boom.
2004 alt. Is that gonna be
Definitely.
silver? Is that gonna be Silver Side Up?
No, that is just straight rock. It's not Nickelback.
Yeah, I agree. That's my pick.
2004?
Sounds like something I'll know.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, that is The Killers' Hot Fuss.
Love it.
Hey, another car CD.
Love
Yeah.
the Killers.
The beloved album, actually stemming from UK, although they're not a UK band. So that will be the
Well,
album
aren't
for
they
next week.
artsy?
The Killers' Hot Fuss. And
Like it.
yeah.
So I want to throw something else out there. Kale, I don't know if you'll be ready for this. I talked to Mark about this a little bit on the phone this week or last week. Sometime we're most of us are turning into adults, which means, we have jobs and lives and things going on, which inevitably means occasional delayed podcast. And I definitely feel, as I think some of you feel, where if we only have one album to listen to uh, over a delayed period, it can be a little bit like, well, I need something else here. I can't, I don't want to listen to this 50 billion times, I want to listen to shit. So I was thinking, if you have one ready, we could maybe queue up to 3 albums at a time to give our listeners time to prepare, to give ourselves some variety if we get sick of listening to one album. Just, to have it available in case maybe you feel like you've fully listened to the album of the week.
Okay.
So I wanted to propose that to you two, see what you thought. I see one of Mark's valid concerns was, I should say I heard, was that, if it's an album you don't particularly resonate with, you might be privy to move on to the next one instead, which I'd like to think I'm disciplined enough not to do that, but yeah, what do you guys think?
My thoughts are, if we were to go that route, here's what I was thinking, is that we would actually queue 4 weeks, and that we would have the 5th week, which would be this next vault week, which is after Kale's pick, where we go back and look and pick the vault song. After when we film that episode, then each of us prepares and states our album. That way you still have that surprise factor going on, and it's all like it'd be like a season of passing notes. Like it'd be like season 1 of Passing Notes, and then you announce all 4 of the albums, and then episode 1 would be the first album. That's kind of my thoughts, and I thought that would be the way to do it if that were to be done.
I do like that, although, and I really like the idea of season.
Yeah.
But I'd almost say, 4 weeks plus 1 recap week is basically a month.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a month and a week, probably on average, but I think a month is maybe a little too short for 1 season, so maybe it'd be a 2-month.
Okay.
2-month season.
Okay, so it's 2 rotations of albums would be.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
But I still say, especially if we're keeping rotating album order, because then nobody will have any time to prepare for mine. Because I'll always be the first at the beginning of the rotation.
What do you mean you won't have prepare? Oh, you want
mean
people
like
to have more time with your album rather than other people's albums?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, we could shuffle the order every now and again. Like
Well, we have.
Or or you just say after the first rotation, you bring out the first rotation of the following season, so you're always
Yeah,
8
that's what
pieces away.
That's what it'd have to be. Yes, I think.
like what? Oh, so it's like if you're first one rotation, you're last the next rotation?
You can always see each of the members' next 2 picks.
You reveal 2 albums at the same time? Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
That means you have 8 albums to listen to at one time?
No, you're just revealing them.
Yeah.
It's still pod to pod.
Okay, but I feel like that increases the variety maybe too much, I mean, you still have the same. If we did it just a 4-week rotation, you still have just as much time to listen as you did before.
All I'm saying is I'm trying to review.
If you're as disciplined as you say.
All right, so Kale, do you know what your next one's going to be?
I think so, yes.
Because I know what mine's going to be as well if you do it. Then we can just drop them all, and then we'll be all set. And then...
So we're skipping the vault week this time if we were to do that?
No, we can still do it, but I just want to drop mine in.
Wow, you want to drop it in already? Okay.
This way. No, we can do it this way. We can do it this way. Here we go. Because, and then on next week's pod, Mark can drop his next one into the rotation. Then we'll always have the next, everybody but the person who just went's pod up.
All right. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I just like the theater of the whole beginning a new season. Like that's what I liked is and then everybody goes around and reveals their album and then
then I'm just gonna reveal week 1 and then we can do a big seasonal reveal on the recap week.
But then you've already revealed it, so then there's no big reveal.
Audience time to listen to the album too. Otherwise they'll only have a week like us. But if we reveal everybody else's on week 1, they got a whole month to listen to Kale's. They got 3 weeks to listen to yours.
Yeah, and then you just what's up, Ed?
Oh, I can see people going, "Oh, I can't wait till Mark's choice comes back up," when they see that.
Right.
Right, and I mean we don't have to stick to the same order each week if we do it or each season, quote unquote, if we do that. Like, say you're first this time, but then, or you don't even have to be first. If it's that big a deal for you, we'll put you last. Well, I'm hoping with everybody out of school and most holidays kind of behind us that we won't have a bunch of these month-long hiatuses. I hope. Sure.
But I don't care. I'm Mr. Open Mind, as you guys know.
Aren't you on all day at work now too, Jack?
What's up?
Aren't you in headphones most of the day at work right now?
Yeah, earbuds.
Wouldn't you use some more albums to listen to?
I have plenty of D&D stuff to catch up on, so I've been watching a lot of D&D.
Nope.
Yeah, people playing it. Yeah.
Have you?
Have I played it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No wonder you drag at work.
No, they're funny. They're hilarious. Anyways, here's how about I said we don't decide now. We'll put this out. We'll see what Jason has to say. We'll think about it over some more. We'll talk.
We'll hear Kale's.
Oh yeah, Kale had something to say. What did you say?
I didn't know. I
Oh,
haven't-
you look like you had raised your finger at one point.
Yeah. So,
No. Okay.
Kale,
Well-
what do you think about this whole idea, though?
It sounds good to me.
That's not an answer.
It is. It is. Whatever you get.
Sounds good. Wait until the seasonal reveal, revealing a few albums at a time, rotating the reveal. What?
Keep it
Not
the
revealing
same?
at all.
You just tell me how many albums I need to tell you, and I'll
You're
tell
part
you.
of the show, Kale.
Everything is-
It is. That's my contribution. I'm thinking about the
Oh.
music, man. I had an idea. Actually, my thought was like, this probably won't help, but I was just thinking of, I wonder if we could also discuss just in general what we listen to as well, because like for me, I listen to different stuff all the time,
For sure.
and usually the album of the week is in like a big rotation of
Yeah.
stuff that I listen to.
For sure.
So I was just thinking if we wanted to consider adding that as an element too. But,
Yeah, and that,
yeah,
and we're gonna run out of vault weeks, like pretty soon. Like we don't have that much ground to cover. We covered all the albums that we did before you had joined in like 2 weeks. So like we'll probably get to a point where we'll have to fill that 5th week with something. I mean, and we don't even necessarily have to record something. Maybe we just take a week break, or if people want to talk, we'll film something. But all ideas. We'll put this out. We'll see what Jader says. We'll discuss.
I just laughed when Bart said our audience. We have to worry about our audience. I said, well, Jason's pretty flexible. I mean, he's pretty,
To be fair, we get more than just him as viewers. They just don't
This is
comment
true.
anything.
You got to be pissed
Sure.
that it's taking us this long to get an episode out. I'm expecting to hear some critical feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially if you've listened this long into the album, into the cast. I mean,
All right.
What are you guys doing?
So next week, the Killers' Hot Fuss. This
Don't
week
miss
has been Gerry Rafferty, City to City, overall rating 3.75, with the vault song being Baker Street. I would be putting the link to the vault playlist that I have made on Spotify. If Bart wants it to make one on Amazon and send me the link to that, I will put that also down in the description.
oh, that's a good idea.
Yep. So, leave a comment, please. We'd love to hear from you. We love hearing from Jason, but come on, somebody else. You gotta
Come
have
on,
something
people.
to say.
You know you're
People.
watching. You know you're watching. Why aren't you saying anything, huh?
Where's Jay Sizzle?
Do you
I
not
mean,
want to
1
be
week
heard?
and gone. What happened to Jay Sizzle? That's what I want to know.
She
Who's a
listens. She just
sock puppet.
never says anything.
She needs to,
All
step
right.
up.
That
Comment.
does it for us. This has been Passing Notes Podcast. Peace.
Good night.